This planets and all for this to be the needs of the balance of the nature. Find your power in your beauty. It does not make us free at all. I know about the ways you are. And how it wants to be alive. It's to be loved. It's just beautiful. Anything in the deep and the beauty of the you'll find the sky's mouth is your kind of nothing is so. I would never hurt you. Else these words. You are that new rule stone. You are that new rule stone. Died, cried once, last, sing, rose again. I planned for the plant, died, arose of an animal, and I was born a man. Whenever I lost by my death, I should come as whoever I am, a wanderer, the worshiper, the loving and the leaving. It doesn't matter for enough if this be the despair. Broken your vow 1,000 times, come again, you'll come. I'm part of that load, rightly balanced and dropped off of the grass at the brows of where I fall for the hundreds of years. I find the dust of the grains of the floating and flying, the will for the air, for the forgetting and ever being out of that state, for the beyond that, for the coming sleep and migrating myself back to the spring, to losing that, the four branch of time, to use the sprays across to this waiting room. I walk into a huge waste of only despair, for everyone cares in different ways, and knowing the conscious decision, the personal memory, and they're much too small to a place to live, for this to be the steam of the night, for the loving you nowhere, for the during the day, and I absorb at work. Here. Everywhere. You think of that coming up into the ashes, the flying off as oneself at the phoenix in the moment we have the form for the be consciousness at the same time separate for the beacon from the alchemist and the losing yourself for the copper qualities, and you see that spring began the trees and this be the equinox, and only find that for the not for the done to deserve that intention every more for the this to be the free will. We can argue them, we can only lend the ideas of this real is only presence. Open your secret, open your heart, open the reason why love says I hold you with the tongue and I will find that soul. For you don't laugh at me for this, immediately for the sorrowful. Anxious and seeking oblivion, and have that from the wine of heavy measure. For the arrow of this, you can find that not the bow. Missing a mark, shout the gates with the bow for the prison of the world, for the fetter with I can hide that for the shoot, for the be the go with the kingdom of the I can find an angel for the thorn of the horn of the man, for this to be the night and lust for the death for the divine the willing. Should I find a form of your likeness and this not take flock of your horse? Set a fly for the wings of the flood of the life, for this would be the finding the bread, for this a merchant for the trafficker, finding that enchantment for the gaining and lost. Fail, make myself out of sick, and this would be the utter waste of lamentation for the binding in my head, for the bow for the mobile where I can find a hand, for this would be the compassion for the sickness and the fluttering. This would be hidden from the roots, and I can find that for the hidden for anything, but this would be the prince for the poets, and I became the king. And how that for the years of the liberty and the flowing, the poetry, the glory, the always find it unseen for the form of dust and great to me. The blessing or paradise. It was three that lived inside of me, for this was us, this and never the harm another, for that but the coming to find, for the holding everything you want, for the putting inside of your hands with the order of the middle, no longer for the thing anything for the might wound of your precious land. Sacred earth, your body, put your soul against this, the orb of me. Pour our other power with the beta of the universe and enter that for the new. Source that outside for the limit, you can find the holy realm for the living and the exhibit for the existence. Mummy for the crack, open your ecstasy and leap out of devour space. Love gone, disallay your air forever. Torture racked after the past to the future. Mind after the tries of shapes in tomorrow. Beyond after the capacities and define no rest. Be kind to yourself for the dear to find the innocent and folly for them forgetting, and it's down for the touch you knew for the didn't know to help you dance, and you can come to the moonlight for the evolving us in the heart and be. The earth will be with me. Serving every creature but enter the form of the sacred one, but we will be happy and high and fine of hindsight. Find the words to those songs and a chance of humming, and I might do it wrong for the right, for the floating, for the current, for the wild humming, and a noun for the eye, for the line to find the dog, the log, for this to be the heading for the south, for the bank, for this to be the one you can find the deposit, but understill. And thinking he forgot something abruptly enough for the upstream, the stream of constant to live at the present, for you can find that reasonable and in most minds abruptly. Undermine after the chance of humming. You forgot those words. It was those lovers who drink that night away, for this be the drinking until they can't find the tears, and they for the intellect, for the melting of the what the layers of shame and modesty. When the love in the body and mind for the heart and soul doesn't even exist, you becoming the falling in love with the separation again. Who's gone that way? En route. What tree was to wander off without being still and living within? I want to find that love for this to be my biography. Uncontrollable the impact of your poetry. Wondering if it was there for the intuitive, the grasp of the language of the humanity. I foresaw the deep for this, the diverse influence, and only to work with this to be the only to find the seven, with the only centuries you can sprung the sprung for the contradictory, but you can find today for this to be the past inability. This to be the flaw of its moral center for the ability to find one conducting of what you can find an oath coming for the define impact and for inform the riff reference. And it might have been a reason of the popularity, but you can find that according to who you for the Father Palmer, prove yourself. And usually intense as a spiritual emotion of love, and you can find that merging for the absolute for the beautiful. You can find that merging like an illuminating for your own, and I find it for the highest secular, and enough to be sure for the reader, but to be drawn, you can be the extra transcendental to the eye and find admiration through the extract. Love is to heaven. This is to love. To fly to heaven. Every moment. Hundreds of veils of first instant break away for the breath for the first step to the renounce their feet. Disregard the world to see only what you yourself has been said. Heart and congratulates into the entering of the circle of lovers. The gazing beyond the range to eye for the running into the alley of the breast. You came for the breath and the heart for the you thriving with what you see. Birds speak to the tongue of birds and I can hear the cipher. My heart said it was the factory, the home and the water. I was flying from the workshop while it was being created. When I could no more resist, they dragged me. How can the matter of that be? I'm not mystical one for the only decided twilight. The moon appeared in the sky, the landed for the earth and looking at me. That hawk stealing a bird at a time and the prey for the moon stole me rushed back into the sky. I looked at myself and didn't see me anymore, for the moon body turned me into fine as a soul. The 9 spears disappeared in that moon for the ship to wreck. The imps existed after the drowning in the sea. Again raging, and I'm such a state for the soul, for the very binding your bind, for the breaking of mine, for the like heaven and the moon. The candle by your glow, for the I am the reason to love, the soul by your soul. My joy is your doing, hang over your thorns, and this whatever side to turn your face and turn mine by your soul, and I spoke in the air. It is surprising enough to speak in that air in the state for the moment I cannot tell the cup for the wine by your soul, for I am the madman, bind, die for the dying vision, for the sign to find the soul. I raise my head up from the heart, to ride without the cord of my soul for you, the need and be departed for the coming back for the need of you, for the need for the I can have that for the disbelief, for the conceal the disbelief, for that I will recite your for the destiny, even I will awaken. Like a spinning note distraught by your soul, I am. God has made existence magnificent and made it through the non-existence to conceal for the sea, for the this to be exposed to conceal, for the wind to display through the dust and this to be the whirling. Dust flies like a dancer, but the wind is invisible and known only by the trust of the phone, but the only that about you for the without the sea, for the whirling it takes place throughout is hidden, the speech is manifest.
Love is to heaven. Love is to heaven. heaven. Love is to heaven. This is to love. To fly to heaven. Every moment, hundreds of veils at first, an instant break away from the breath. The first step is to renounce their feet. Disregard the world you see only what you yourself, and as men said. Hearty congratulations to the entering of the circle of lovers. The gazing beyond the range, the eyes that are running into the alley of the breath. You came for the breath and the heart for the you throbbing in what you see. Birds speak to the tongue of birds, and I can heed the cipher. My heart said it was the factory, the home of the water. I was flying from the workshop while it was being created. When I could no more resist, they dragged me. How can the matter of that be? I'm not mystical one for the only decided twilight. The moon appeared in the sky, the lantern for the earth, and they're looking at me. That hawk stealing a bird at a time, and the prey for the moon stole me, rushed back into the sky. I looked at myself and didn't see me anymore, for the moon body turned me and defined as a soul. The 9 spears disappeared in that moon for the ship to direct the emphasis to that for the drowning in the sea. Again, raging, and I'm in such a state for the soul, for the very binding your bind, for the breaking of mine, for the like heaven and the moon, the candle by your glow, for the I am the reason to love, and soul by your soul. My joy is your doing, hang over your thorns, and this whatever side you turn your face, to turn mine by your soul, and I spoke in the air. It is surprising enough to speak in that air in the state for the moment I cannot tell the cup for the wine by your soul, for I am the madman, and not for the dying division, but the sign of the soul. I raise my head up from the heart, to ride right out of the court of my soul from you, the need and beauty departed for the coming back for the need of you, for the need for the I can have that for the disbelief, for the conceal the disbelief, for that I will recite your for the destiny, for the I will awaken. Like a spinning note and distraught by your soul, I am. God has made existence magnificent and made it through the non-existence to conceal for the sea, for the this to be exposed to conceal, for the wind to display through the dust, and this to be the worldly. Dust flies like a dancer, but the wind is invisible and known only by the trust of the phone, but the only that about you for the without the sea, for the whirling it takes place throughout its hidden, the speech is manifest.